Hey everyone, welcome to the Cyberman Show. My name is Prashant Mishra. I'm a cybersecurity expert with over 20 plus years working in cybersecurity product companies. Right now, I'm working at Palo Alto Networks as a solution architect. Today, I'll be covering about what has happened in last 6 months in this space. The reason I'm doing a 6 monthly episode is because I was away from the world of content creation for some time. Uh, Today is a comeback episode. Although I know by the time you see, there would be another episode out because that was a wake up call for me. It was all about how Agentic AI hacked 30 plus companies. I highly recommend you to go and check that episode out. But with that, let's get started. So, today I'll be talking about major incidents and breaches, where the money is flowing, and what are the major threat reports or publications that everybody should read. Now, the idea why I share all this content is to learn patterns. The moment we understand patterns, we can use that to learn more, build new skills, and find an opportunity that we might be waiting for. With that, let's look into incidents and breaches. So, UK as a country was under siege with multiple attacks that have happened. So, their retail chains, M&S, Harrods, they were attacked by a ransomware called Scattered Spider that came through a third party provider. JLR was attacked. It led to around $2.5 billion in cost. It impacted UK GDP. Colin Aerospace breach led to three airports getting impacted. Uh, that is Heathrow, Brussels, and Berlin. Then, in terms of crypto based attacks, Bybit hack led to $1.67 billion stolen in Q1 2025 alone. And in first half of 2025, the total amount that was done through cryptocurrency was $2.47 billion. It exceeded entire cryptocurrency based theft in all of 2024. Again, there were major extortion attempts via overseas contractor to Coinbase. Now, what is the takeaway? The takeaway is you don't have to remember all these names. There are patterns that you have to know. One is ransomware, the groups, the exploits, attack on some things that we use day to day, like doing shopping, going to a grocery store, taking a flight. All those things are constantly getting attacked. What that means is IT that is used as an operational expenditure typically doesn't have the best in class cybersecurity, but that has to be the default choice. That's the key takeaway from this. Okay. Again, in the next category of incident breaches, there have been multiple zero-day exploits. A lot of them are there, but worth mentioning are the Microsoft SharePoint tool shell exploits on Ivanti VPN that was exploited in the wild, and then iOS Corona's exploit kit. Now, go ahead, search on these terms. You'll learn a lot. Then the next category of breaches were supply chain and third-party attacks. So Salesforce, a major CRM software company, was hit by a third-party hack. It impacted a lot of high-profile firms that used Salesforce to store their data. Adidas breach led to an impact on 544,000 individuals via a third-party customer service provider. And then PowerSchool, student-teacher data was stolen and ransom was paid. Now, this that was 2026, most key events, not all of them, but in 2026, emerging threats came. So, Hacktivate search was seen. Keymouse Plus and Dightnet drove 70% of attacks in Feb and March 2026. This is data as of yesterday when I created this research. Again, there are active ransomware groups like Akira, Quillin, Blackshantrak, Handala. The pattern here is there will be people who want to make easy money, and ransomware comes naturally to them as the first choice. The key stat that was found in this was 60% of breaches involved human element. The source for this is Verizon 2025 data breach report. If you're in cybersecurity, you should read this annual report from Verizon. Lot of lessons on what happens in breaches, how they are investigated, how the cyber criminals or threat actors infiltrate the networks. Also, IBM came out with their annual average cost of breach report. They reported it to around $4.4 million. This is a 9% decrease over last year, as it's driven by faster identification and containment and improvement in the technology. And also, CrowdStrike came up with their latest threat report, and they mentioned that 82% of their detection were malware free, which means threat actors use native software or publicly known software for exploitation and infiltration. So the key takeaway from all this section is attackers aren't breaking in, they are logging, they are using stolen credentials. Okay. CrowdStrike mentioned that 82% of detections were malware free, and 60% of breaches involved stolen credentials or phishing. Why does this happen? Because humans fail in basic cybersecurity hygiene. We don't change our passwords, we don't patch our devices, we give too many permissions, and we expose our credentials. By the way, supply chain and third party risk is now the number one attack surface that organizations underestimate. How do you track that? You invest in technologies that help you find it. Okay. Now, that was incident and breaches. The second part of this is where is the money going? So let's talk about acquisitions first. So in terms of mega deals, which is greater than $5 billion, three big things happened that are redefining the industry. One was Google, a major cloud and AI player, and of course in YouTube and so many technologies are owned by Google now. So Google invested into Wiz. They bought it for $32 billion. It was the largest cybersecurity acquisition ever. It adds cloud security capabilities into Google's stack. Google already has security operations capabilities. This adds to that arsenal. Then Palo Alto acquired CyberArk in $25 billion to get into the identity security platform play. So Palo Alto has three major platforms, one for network security, second for cloud and security operations, and third would be identity security now. Similarly, ServiceNow acquired a company called Armis, which is into OT security, and this came as a surprise because ServiceNow is known for their IT service management platform. Them getting into Armis, I think they also realize the value of cybersecurity. They've done more acquisition. I'm going to talk about it, but this was a pleasant surprise to me. Now, other large deals in the range of $1 billion to $5 billion was Palo Alto acquiring Chronosphere, which is an observability for security unification play. It was done for around $3.3 billion. Francisco Partners invested into Jamf for around $2 billion. Essentially, it's an Apple device management platform that's taken private. ServiceNow also acquired Visa, which is a company into identity authorization and access governance, and Mitsubishi acquired Nozomi Networks, which is an OT security play. It's the largest OT security acquisition ever, right? So if you notice, large companies are building new capabilities in cybersecurity. Okay. Now, if you look at the second part, which is mid-market deals, which is less than $1 billion. Sophos acquired SecureWorks, Palo Alto acquired Protect AI, which is an AI security company. Zscaler acquired Red Canary, which is an MDR. And then VM, a data management company, acquired Security AI, which is into data security and privacy. Right? So these are impacting how traditional software companies, how existing cybersecurities are making new play. Okay. Now the trend that is coming is that what I found is that there are around 400 plus deals done, and $84 billion was the value that was disclosed. 40% of deals were cross-border, which means the companies went and acquired another company in a different region. Israel, by the way, is top source of targets for cybersecurity acquisition. It's hats off to those guys. And then the hottest category, AI, OT, and identity. Now this is a pattern. This signal there is a new domain appearing, new product categories will emerge. This has been repeating every time large companies acquire something. There are new categories, new product strategies that come out. Okay. So for me, the biggest player that made the move was Palo Alto because they did CyberArk plus Chronosphere plus Protect AI, all three in last 1 year, and the idea is to get into new spaces and build new capabilities. I'm sure we will see more announcements coming from them in their conferences and their filings. Okay. Now, what is also happening is because of this, uh, you can expect fewer vendors as a security buyer. You can expect large platforms and tighter lock-in, just like cloud, right? There are 4 or 5 large cloud players only. Same thing is appearing in the cybersecurity space, leading to platform consolidation. Now, also look at new startups, which is where is innovation happening. The first space is Agentic AI security. It's a new category. So multiple companies that are coming. A company called Zenity was announced as in the Gartner Cool Vendor report. It governs AI agent behavior. Then CoTool, which is an AI co-pilot plus no-code agent builder. It performs 70% faster investigation. Harmony Intelligence, multi-factor. Okay, AIM. Look up on these companies. Read what they're trying to do. Okay. Then also breakout growth companies. These are companies that are going after a large ARR from when they started. So ChainGuard, which is into supply chain security, currently standing at around $3.5 billion and targeting around $100 million in ARR. Similarly, Vanta, an automated compliance company, around $4 billion valuation. Noma Security have $100 million Series B. They're an AI-driven platform. And then there are accelerator programs running. So there is a program by CrowdStrike, AWS, NVIDIA, where 35 startups were selected in the 2026 cohort. Final pitch is going to happen in a few weeks from now at RSA conference. And the focus has been cloud first, identity first, and anti-AI adversary. Okay. What is the takeaway? A new product category is born. It's called Agentic AI security. Some people call it AI security only. Some people will call it security for AI infrastructure, all those things, right? So how AI infrastructure will be secured by these products is one category. Again, how existing security products will use AI to get better, to prevent or secure against the latest attacks built on AI is an interesting thing. Okay, now this is the next generation of security frontiers, and any companies that are going to solve this problem will define the category for the next decade. Okay, now let's look at funding and capital. Largest rounds were raised by Cyera, around $940 million. A company into AI data security. Money was raised by Savient, a company into identity for humans and AI agents. ChainGuard, supply chain security. Vanta for automated compliance. Aura for consumer AI protection. Tynes for security automation. Noma for AI. It's an AI-driven platform, right? And new IPOs came from SailPoint and Netscope. Net. Where is the money flowing? From the venture capital side is AI governance and security, identity-centric solutions, data protection, GRC with native AI, and then cloud security also, because the revenue multiples are much higher there, right? The reason you have to understand all this data is the VC money typically shows or takes 2 to 3 years. Okay, now sometimes what happens is, even if a new category comes and the player is new, a large company will acquire it because of the uniqueness of the technology. Case in point, Koi Security out of Israel that got acquired by Palo Alto a few weeks back. They are into a new category of product called Agentic Endpoint. Okay, go ahead and look it up. Okay, so if the technology is unique, I'm sure a bigger player will definitely go ahead and acquire, and this leads to creation of new use cases, new technology, right? Now, why you have to learn all this? So that you identify the new technologies, learn those technologies, and enhance your skill, and it helps you with your career. Okay. Also, next section is all about the vendor threat reports that were interesting. So CrowdStrike's 2026 global threat report came. One stat that surprised me was the fastest breakout time of 27 seconds. I was blown away reading this data. It used to be days and weeks when I started reading all these reports, and now it's in seconds, which is what we all predicted thanks to AI. Then they mentioned 89% increase in AI-enabled attacks. Then I mentioned 82% malware-free detection, also cross-domain tradecraft, which is identity plus cloud plus edge. This is the skill cyber threat actors have. Why don't you have that skill? Why don't I have that skill? So that's a thing to learn, right? Similarly, Checkpoint came up with their cybersecurity report for 2026. They also mentioned the same thing. AI is embedded across full attack life cycle. AI is also itself now a direct enterprise risk source. So it's obvious. Why it's obvious? Because of the way AI works. It can't differentiate between good data, good intent versus bad intent of in using the AI tool itself. Okay. Then Darktrace's annual threat report for 2026 came. It mentioned 8.2 million phishing email targeted VIPs, which is 25% of all phishing that they tracked. Cloud compromise became the number one entry point, and shift from exploit to AI enabled credential abuse has started. Similarly, Fortinet came up with their 2025 global threat landscape, where they mentioned 36,000 malicious scans per second as a data. I'm not surprised. The scale of cloud and AI gives that capability. Again, what they mentioned is that automation plus AI plus tone and creds leads to faster scalable attacks. Of course, right? So AI is enabling all that. Then ANISA, the European body, came up with their threat landscape report for 2025. They analyzed around 4,800 incidents between July 2024 to June 2025. And their focus was EU digital infrastructure targeting. I recommend all of you to go through this report. Okay. Also, the World Economic Forum's Global Cybersecurity Outlook report for 2026 came. They mentioned ransomware is their number one concern both in 2025 and 2026, and 78% of enterprise plan to increase cyber spending irrespective of the geo-economic situation. Also, the geopolitically motivated cyber attacks are also a consideration for most organizations when they're making these decisions, because these attacks can disrupt their critical national infrastructure, lead to espionage, etc. So organizations are considering that. Now, the themes that are common across this report is: one, identity is the new parameter. CyberArk came up with data that there is an 82 to 1 machine to human identity ratio. What that means is that for every human employee, there will be now 82 non-human identities, including bots, service accounts, and AI agents operating within the enterprise. Okay, this is a massive, large, undersecured attack surface, where 87% organizations experience at least 2 identity-centric breaches in past 1 year. Okay, amazing stat. This also tells me that identity security for agent is gonna blow up. That's why if you notice, Palo Alto acquired CyberArk. That's why you notice CrowdStrike acquired a company called Signal. That's why you saw ServiceNow acquired a company, Veza, for the same thing, right? So identity is a big thing. And if you look at the VC data, if you look at the M&A data, it's the same pattern repeating all over again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to learn more about identity security, learn more about agentic identity security. To learn about that, I have to understand how agents work, how they operate, how to orchestrate them, right? So all these things are related. Going back to the same thing, the big tradecraft now will be identity plus cloud plus edge. Okay. Now, what also came as a theme is that AI is a dual-edged sword. 1 in 6 breaches involved AI methods. Risky AI prompts have increased by 97% in 2025. 40% of the analyzed MCP servers are vulnerable, and elevated trust and autonomy amplify the impact of prompt injection and workflow abuse. Right? It's obvious, as you can imagine. If you elevate the capabilities of AI, that can be exploited. Also, ransomware has been evolving. So instead of just spending money on encryption, they are going towards pure play data exfiltration, data espionage, because it's less noisy. A lot of companies have invested into data backup, data resiliency tool, and now there's an increased usage of data leaking sites. 2025 alone saw pure play extortion, data theft only incidents, and that's a pattern that is easy for attackers to execute and much faster to get money. Okay, the supply chain attacks is the most prevalent category of breaches. Average cost is $4.9 million. Speed is increasing, as I mentioned, right? So that's the update on from multiple vendor threat reports. Now, the key thing from this section is that every major report is telling the same thing, right? Identity, as I've said before. I've told you what I'm going to study. I also told you how the average breakout time has reduced as per multiple reports, including CrowdStrike, etc. Okay. This requires next set of skills. This requires AI in our job functions, AI in the tools that we use. So I'm sure all your companies, wherever you work, even if you're a student, learn as much as you can. Learn whatever you have access of, go ahead, learn how to build agents, how to secure applications. The new job or new skill is securing the build platforms that are built by agents, not by humans, right? Of course, there is a time where we will transition. So in that period, we'll have to do both. But eventually, time of agent or builder platforms will be there or is already coming. It's arriving at a much faster pace. So we have to similarly learn more and build skills around securing them. With that, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. If you like the content, go ahead, share, like, subscribe, drop an email and or a message on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.